Yay, we're live. Just hands.
Live, oh my goodness.
So, hey, Brendan White. And
hi, Simone Milasas.
You were about to say Missilus then, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I didn't know which one I was going to use.
My nephew, when he was much younger, his name's James Milasas, but he used to say Missilus. So it was very, very cute. Missilus. Hey, hi, welcome. You're in Australia. I'm in Bucharest, Romania.
I know, we switched.
Yeah,
you're
we
the one
did.
doing the track. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm down under.
Yeah.
Here
And
I
it's so when's the last time you were in Australia?
5.5 years, December 2019.
Wow, 2019, December. Okay. And I wanted to ask you a couple of questions because you're doing a bunch of classes in Australia. Actually, what's the URL for your thing?
BrendanWatt.com classes.
Keep it simple.
And I keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. I think we had a page for it, but I cannot remember off the top of my head. But everything's on my classes page anyway.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to add this. I'm just going to add that down the bottom as well. See how quickly I did that?
Oh my God, you're amazing. I would have not known how to do that.
I'm very, very smart. So BrendanWatt.com/classes. And so Brendan is actually in Australia doing some classes, which I'm so grateful for that you are there doing those classes. I'm grateful for every facilitator, practitioner that gets out there and goes to expos and does bars classes and bar swaps and body process swaps and everything. Because, wow, the world requires it. It's like the tools of access consciousness. So I want to ask you too, do you remember when you first came along to Access, and what is the first tool that you ever sort of went and had this aha moment?
Well, I guess the first one that I really had an aha moment with was who does it belong to? Because I remember getting that tool and, getting the awareness of 98% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions don't belong to you. You're just like a sponge. And I was like, oh, that sums me up. And when I heard it, because I was so confused as to why I could be happy one moment and then have anxiety the next, or be angry the next, or be sad the next. And when I got that tool, it was just this, oh my God, this explains so much. And so I started using it a lot, and it was one of those tools that I noticed that when I look back on things like that, I noticed that you get another tool and kind of forget about the last one. And that's why in calling this live, I titled it Back to Basics, because I was like, now more than ever, I use those tools that I got in the bars manual 15 years ago.
Do you know, the funny thing is that you say that is the first tool that I ever came across when I didn't know what Access was at all. I was at an expo, a Mind, Body and Spirit festival, and this guy had a big bowl of pieces of paper, and he was cute. That's why I actually stopped, right? Call me shallow, whatever you want. That's why I stopped. And he goes, hey, he said, pick a question out of here. And it was, who does this belong to? And he went, oh, who does this belong to? And I looked at him and thought, what the fuck is that? Like, what does that even mean? And I had no idea what he was talking about. And he gave that description of what you were talking about. And I looked at him and was just like, what? It's like, because I had so strongly believed that everything that was going on in my head, in my heart, in my everything was mine. That there was nothing in the world that ever said, hey, what if you're just psychic? And what if you're just aware? And what if none of it's yours? What if you could have your life to be way easier, like much more ease in it and joy, and you just pick up on all the stuff of everybody else? Like, that wasn't even, I was like, impossible. Yeah. This shit that's going on is actually mine. So that's funny that that's the first tool that you remember. And it's the first tool I was given, and it confused the hell out of me.
Yeah, it kind of, I love hearing everyone's different points of view about when they came along to Access. Like I did this thing with Chris Hughes today, and he was so skeptical. he was like, you know, basically prove it to me, show me how this is going to work. And I love that. Like, I love hearing different things because that was not me. I fell into it head first. You know, I was just like, I'm not even going to try and figure any of this shit out. And it was one of the reasons why I changed so much so quickly in the beginning. You know, in the beginning of Access, I was just like, whatever this is, I'm going for it. And funnily, I only just got Access Me.
I saw your video.
I only got it like a week or so ago, and I'm just geeking out on it because one of the things, you know, and funnily enough, living with you for 8 years, one of the things that's been coming up for me a lot is business, you know, and all these points of view I have about business. So I'm geeking out on business at the moment. But then today I started thinking about.
Say to me, I don't need to go to your classes because I live with you. And I'd be like,
but now I don't live with you, so I have to go to so I have to go to the classes. So there you go. No, I think now I just have more willingness to actually learn, or it's not even learn, just to kind of be more educated and receive. But then today I was actually thinking about that first level 2 and 3 class that I went to with Gary in Brisbane. You were there, and you know, and Dane was there, and I was thinking about that. So I'm looking for it on the Access Me thing. I'm like, I want to listen to that class again because I want to hear it 15 years later and hear what was, you know, what was going on.
Yeah. Did you find it?
Not yet. I only just started.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't found it yet because I was still navigating that, but I will find it.
I've listened to some of the classes. So also find another class. It's literally called the business class. Like it's, you know, it's in San Francisco.
That's the one I just listened to.
Okay, that's the first
2003.
Yeah, did you not hear me like rookie?
Yeah, I heard you a lot.
I was like sitting in the front row, just going and Gary and Gary and Gary.
Yeah, no, I heard.
Oh my god, I was just like, it was brilliant. But that's the first class I ever traveled to go to a class, and I went to the business class to gain tools for my business. And I remember my father saying to me, you need to go and figure out if this is what you want to do with your life. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to be working with Access. I've got my own business, you know, and here I am. So there you go. Yeah. So who does this belong to? And then what else? Like, what are some of those basic tools that I want to say like that you could perceive like that pivot in your life of a change that you just went, wow, this can actually occur?
Well, I mean, another one that was, you know, it was in those first couple of weeks, you know, starting classes, was that my choices were creating my life. And that I remember that was definitely an aha moment, because I was like, no, my life sucks because the world's fucking making it happen that way. You know, and my childhood and all of these things that went on that made up this story that I couldn't seem to go beyond was what was creating my life, not me. And it was my first taste of what empowerment is, you know, because I heard, you know, I saw this stuff on Access about empowering you to know that you know, and I was like, it's not gonna work with me. Give me the answer. But that was, and it's like, but that was the beginning of such a long journey with choice and, you know, and choosing, and how much power that we all have with it.
So two things. One, because it's funny, again, you say that one of my favorite tools from Foundation Manual is how did I create this? Because I think a lot of the times we will blame something or someone else rather than actually go, okay, so how did I create this? Like for me, it's like wherever you are at in your life right now, whether it's with money, business, relationships, your body, anything, how did I create this? Because you chose something that created what is showing up in your life and also what is not showing up in your life. So how did I create this? Great tool. But I want to ask you too, Brendan, were you really looking for an answer?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
you know,
I think if someone gave you an answer, you would have told them to.
Yeah, it was more I had no trust in myself. I had so many
Right.
insecurities and so many things like that about myself. It was more of an excuse again to not create my life. And that's been one of my big things. Even now, still, it's still a lot of stuff that I still work through, and that's the other thing is I've relaxed into so much more of that especially over the last few years, because I used to think consciousness was a destination, somewhere you could get to. And for me, it's every moment of living. And so there's such a different there's such a different space available. Like, I was just working with someone before we got on this live. She needed some help, and she was going through all this stuff and nothing was seeming to change it. And I was like, okay, so what if you let it all in and just be with it? What if you could be with this with no judgment, no point of view about it? Because that's the other thing too. Like, you gave that question of how did I create this, is most people don't want to use that because they go, well, how do I create this? So let me find how I created it so I can have more judgment of the choice I made that created everything I'm in judgment of.
Rather than just laughing at yourself too and just going, God, it's a good thing I'm cute. I created this.
Yeah.
If I created this, I can change it.
Yeah. Gary used to always say in the beginning, I know I'm dumber than dirt, and I'd be like, why is he saying that? Like, he's brilliant. Why is he saying he's dumber than dirt?
Well, but do you also know what? I was thinking about this the other day because I'm such a soil freak now. I've learned so much about the soil and
you're such a what? Oh, soil.
Okay. So I'm like, dirt is not dumb. Dirt is very,
dirt
very
is
smart.
not dumb. Dirt is not dumb at all.
It's not. So I think that's funny. Hey, let's talk about all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. This is also one of the, back to basics. Like, it's the mantra of Access Consciousness.
It's the
goal.
go get 'em. It's the GoDaddy of them all. I'd say, and it's the one that I think it's the one that people would go, how, Well, that's the beautiful thing with all of this, is there is no how. And I was listening to, I might have been, it was some old class a while back. I was listening through old classes where Gary talked about this tool as basically a way of connecting with the universe and going, hey, I'm open to receiving this. And it was an acknowledgement of a willingness to receive. And so, I mean, a lot of you have probably heard Dane's story of he found this little ad in the newspaper. Mine is exactly the same, except it's exactly the same. Because I did the same. I was like, my life fucking sucks and I'm done. I just need something different. And, and I found that little ad, and this is what it said: all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, call Mel. And that was like something shifted in my world, without a doubt. I know this from reading those words. And then it was, I went and got my bars run, and that was a massive change. And then she gave me that tool. She said, look, this is a tool. Say it 10 times in the morning and 10 times at night. All of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, and see what shows up. And it was weird because it just gave me space.
I love
and
it.
Now I use it as much as I can. I'm always,
me too. I feel so many things. If I can't get to sleep, I'll do it. Or, I've been dealing a lot with what I would call like this reality stuff. I mean, it's, banks, mortgage brokers, real estates, like, accountants, all that, and a lot in the last couple of weeks. And so every time I'm just like, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. And for me,
sorry, you go.
Well, it takes you out of your head. It takes you out of the places where you go to, I have to work something out, or because you can only perceive what you've been and done before. Whereas when you're asking for all of life to come to me with ease, joy, and glory, you're literally inviting like the magic and the miracles and everything outside of anything that you could even perceive as possible to show up. And it's like, and then as you just pointed out too, the receiving. It's like you've got to
Yeah.
be willing to receive.
Yeah, and you got to be willing to. I did a podcast with Dane it just actually got released, and one of the things that I got to him, that one of the things I realized was like, because I would walk back through my life and find these certain points where I know I would, I took a point of view or made a choice. There were those, those significant kind of points throughout your life where you kind of locked yourself up. And I would walk back through to those points and, and basically pull it apart and pull it to bits. And I realized the one thing that I wasn't willing to do was make a different choice. And I was like, holy shit, like which is part of what kept me creating such a story based on my past. It wasn't seeing something and then going, okay, that's done. What can I choose now? It was, that's done. How can I undo it?
Wow.
How can I undo it? How can I change it? Rather than just go, how can I choose something different from it? And it was so interesting it's not that I haven't gotten that over the years, but when you've been getting something and then you just get it to a whole different level of clarity, and you're like, oh shit. But also the thing that I get a lot clearer on too is you're not going to change anything until you actually choose to change it. And I was talking to somebody last night, and she was just like, just had all this stuff going on. And I was like processing and mentioning different tools. And then I got to a point where I was like, oh, she don't actually want to change it. She has no desire to change it.
Yeah. And that's okay.
And that's okay. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I always love, you get it when you get it, you choose it when you choose it, you change it when you change it. And the one thing I would like to reiterate with this is you're not wrong for what you're choosing ever. But also stop trying to be right, because if you are trying to be right or you're judging that you're wrong, you'll never have freedom in your world. Like, what if you could just eliminate the rightness and the wrongness and show up as you every day in question? And the Access Consciousness classes, whatever you can get to, it's like absolutely brilliant. Like, so Brendan, I'm just going to put the link down there below again, brendanwatt.com/classes. What classes do you have coming up in Australia?
Well, you know what I want to say also is it's so interesting. Like, it was interesting landing here because, like I said, haven't been here in 5.5 years. I left Australia with really starting to struggle with my alcoholism and knowing it, but not really wanting to know it. And then moving to Houston and just it growing legs and, hitting full speed. And so now, a bit over 3 years sober, it's so interesting to be here and perceive who I was when I left to perceive who I am now. And all of that has been choices. All of that has been growing. All of that has just been, it's been different. And it's been so beautiful, because one of the things I realized is that the earth here, the land here, I'm so connected to it.
Yeah.
It's just like, I just love the earth here. And and I also have got a lot more awareness on, I am not a people. And I don't say that to make myself stand out or anything. I say that look at that for yourself. If you're listening to this, of where have I made myself this part of what I've decided people are, rather than where am I different?
Yeah.
But the classes I'm doing currently I'm doing a foundation class and a bars class in and around the Sunshine Coast. I'm doing a 3-day body class, and I'm just about to post a 2-day out of the box class in Perth. And that's going to be live and online. So if you don't want to travel to Perth and you want to be on those, that kind of hours, Aussie, New Zealand, kind of Asia, all that kind of good stuff, you can just join in your underwear on your computer.
And stand up.
and stand up and show me, and entertain me, do a little shake.
All right, cool. And I'm sure that you've got private sessions and stuff like that available as well. And I've just
been talking to lots of people. I've just been like talking to people and just being like, hey, can I contribute? Can I, you want to talk? You want to? I don't know. I think people already want me to leave Australia already. I'm kidding.
Well, I'm glad you're there. I know how connected you are to the land there too, and I can perceive that energy. And I'm really glad that you're receiving from it, because for me, it's like the land in Australia, that ocean across the road from where you are is incredible. It's just like such a contribution. And I just also want to say, if I'm talking about that, no matter where you are in the world, you can also receive from the land anywhere in the world. Like, I'm in Bucharest, Romania at the moment. It's like I can still receive from the land in Australia, the ocean, the seas, Costa Rica, etc. It's like you are an infinite being and have the ability to receive from everything at all times. So Brennan, thank you for coming on here.
Thank you for being on here with me. Thank you for my studio.
You're welcome. Brennan's at my house at the moment.
This is wonderful. I love it.
It's the house that we originally brought together, and then split up, and I brought him out of it, and then did a whole bunch of renovations, which I was so grateful that you get to see that too, because I know that you would appreciate the renovations and the backyard, the food forest.
It's beautiful, and I am honored, and I'm very grateful.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm grateful that you're in Oz. I'm grateful for you, Brendan. So cool. So thanks, everybody.
Come to classes, people. Come on, let's do this thing. Let's have too much fun. Shake it up.
Exactly. I'm going to put like a little shout out for this too. I've got a Business Done Different class in Istanbul, which you can also go online to in, I think it's 9 days. Someone the other day was like, you've got CFP in Moscow in 2 weeks. And I'm like, what? How did that all show up? Like, I haven't even done my 3-day body class here. It's like, how's that showing up? So anyway.
Yeah, you busy girl.
Yeah,
busy
we all are. Yeah. So again, thank you. And thanks for joining, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
See you guys. Bye.